Hello everyone, welcome to Maths with Mr. J, and today I'm going to show you how to solve this nested root equation. It reads root of 5 equals to 125 raised to the power of q, and we are going to look for the value of q. We have different ways to exploit and solve this equation. We can solve it internally, starting from the smallest root to the biggest root, or starting from the biggest root to the smallest root. I still have another approach to this question. At the end of the day, we shall pick the one that is best for us. Let's start. Solution. Root of 5, square root of 5, square root of 5 equal to 125 raised to the power of q. Now we want to start from smallest root, which is 5, then we solve towards the biggest root. In law of indices, we can change root to power, where we have the square root of n is equal to a raised to the power of 1 over. Now we have transformed root to power, we can still apply it here. Then this will change to root of 5 times 5 raised to the power of 1 over 2 equal to 125 raised to the power of q. Now we still have another law of indices, which is product rule, where we have a raised to the power of n times a raised to the power of n can be expressed as when we take one of the base, which is a, raised to the power of m plus n when we add the power. If that is true, we are going to apply it here. And when we apply that, we are going to have root of 5 raised to the power of 1 times 5 raised to the power of half equal to 125 raised to the power of q. If that be, we have root of 5, when we add the powers, which is 1 plus 1 over 2, we are going to have 5 raised to the power of 3 over 2 equal to 125 raised to the power of q. Now we continue. We apply this law of indices again, where we change the root to power. Then if we apply it, we are going to have root of 5 times 5 raised to the power of 3 over 2, all raised to the power of 1 over 2 again, equal to 125 raised to the power of q. Then we have another law of indices that is talking of power, which is when we have a raised to the power of m, all raised to the power of n is the same thing as a raised to the power of m n, meaning we can multiply direct the powers. That means we have root of 5, which is raised to the power of 1, times 5. When we multiply the powers, 3 times 1 gives us 3, all over 2 times 2 gives us 4, equal to 125 raised to the power of q. Now we apply the product rule of indices, which is this we have applied before, and when we do that, they have common base, we have to add the powers, which we change to root of 5 raised to the power of, when we add 1 plus 3 over 4, will give us 7 over 4 equal to 125 raised to the power of q. Then if we continue, we are going to apply another law of indices, changing root to power, which we have used before. Whenever we have root of n is the same thing as n raised to the power of 1 over 2. And if it's so, this will change to 5 raised to the power of 7 over 4, all raised to the power of 1 over 2, equals to 125 raised to the power of q. When we multiply the power, when we apply this law of indices, we are going to have 5 raised to the power of 7 times 1 gives us 7, 4 times 2 gives us 8, equal to 125 raised to the power of q. Now we have to express 125 in base 5. We are having 5 raised to the power of 7 over 8 equals to 5 raised to the power of 3, all raised to the power of q. Then when we multiply the power, we are having 5 raised to the power of 7 over 8 equals to 5 raised to the power of 3q. Then next step, we compare both sides. The base can cancel base, left with the powers, which is 7 over 8 equals to 3q. Now we cross multiply. When we cross multiply, this 3q is over 1, meaning 8 times 3q gives us 24q equals to 7 times 1 gives us 7. Next step, we divide by the coefficient of q. Coefficient of q means that number attached to q. To make q stand on its own, we have 24q all over 24 equals to 7 all over 24. 24 we cancel 24, left with what? Q. Then we have q equals to 7 all over 24 as the answer. This is first method, solving it internally. Now we want to use another approach when we solve it externally. Then what we do, we write down the equation again. The equation says root of 5 equals to 125 raised to the power of q. Now we have to solve this question externally, meaning solving from the biggest root to the smallest root. What we do is a solution. We write root of 5 equal to 125 raised to the power of q. What we do is say we square both sides. When we square both sides, we have root of 5 all squared equal to 125 raised to the power of q all squared. When we square both sides, square we cancel square root, left with 5 root of 5 equal to 125 raised to the power of 2q. When we multiply the powers, now we continue, we have to square both sides again. When we square both sides, we are having 5 root of 5 equals to 125 raised to the power of 2q all squared. Square of 5 will give us 25. Square we cancel square roots times 5 root of 5 equal to 125 raised to the power of 4q when we multiply the powers. Then we continue, we have to square both sides again. If we square both sides again, we are having 125 when we times 25 times 5 root of 5 all raised to the power of 2 equal to 125 raised to the power of 4q all squared. 125 squared will give us 125 squared. We don't want to square it, it will be very big. We leave it that way. Then square we cancel square root times 5 equal to 125 raised to the power of 8q. When we times the power, 4q times 2 gives us 8q. Then we continue. We can express everything in base 5. And when we express everything in base 5, 125 we change to 5 raised to the power of 3 all raised to the power of 2 times 5 raised to the power of 1 equal to 5 raised to the power of 3 all raised to the power of 8q. We can multiply the powers. We have 5 raised to the power of 6 times 5 raised to the power of 1 equal to 5 raised to the power of 24q when we multiply 3 times 8q. Now, if we use the power law of indices is telling us that when we have the same base, we pick one of the base and add up the powers. And when we add up the power, 6 plus 1 gives us 7 equal to 5 raised to the power of 24q. Now we compare both sides. If we compare both sides, base we cancel base, left with the powers, which is 7 equals to 24q. Now we divide both sides by the coefficient of q. Then when we do that, we have 7 over 24 equals to 24q all over 24. 24 we cancel 24, left with 7 over 24 equal to q. Therefore, q is equals to 7 over 24, which is the same answer as the first one we solved. Now, I want to use another approach. Let's see how it works. Now, if we have root of 5, root 5, root 5 equal to 125 raised to the power of q. Now we say solution. If we change root to power, we are going to have root of n is equal to n raised to the power of 1 over 2. If this is true, the first root is root of 5, the biggest root. We can express that as root into power, meaning if we consider the biggest root, the first 5 is giving us 5 raised to the power of 1 over 2 times, we consider the second 5 root of 5, which is giving us 5 raised to the power of 1 over 2 into this root of 5, the second one, is inside the bigger root of 5, which is another 1 over 2 raised to the power of 1 over 2 times, we consider the third one. The third one is having 3 roots. If the third one is having 3 roots, we are having 5 raised to the power of half into 5 raised to the power of half, another half, into another half, which makes it the third root, equal to 125 raised to the power of q. Now we continue. The first one remains 5 raised to the power of 1 over 2 times this second one. When we simplify it, we are having power can times power, where we have law of indices that state that a raised to the power of m, all raised to the power of n, is the same thing as a raised to the power of m n. If we multiply the power, we are going to have 5 raised to the power of 1 over 4. 1 times 1 is 1, 2 times 2 is 4, times, we multiply all the powers. When we multiply all the powers, we have 1 times 1 times 1 times 1 gives us 5 raised to the power of 1 over, we multiply the denominator, 2 times 2 times 2 gives us 8, equal to, we express 125 raised to the power of q in base 5, which gives us 5 raised to the power of 3, or raised to the power of q. We use law of indices that state that whenever we have a raised to the power of m times a raised to the power of n times a raised to the power of y is equal to a raised to the power of m plus n plus y. Since they have common base, this will change to 5. We take one base, then we add up the powers, which is raised to the power of 1 over 2 plus 1 over 4 plus 1 over 8, equal to, when we multiply the power, 5 raised to the power of 3 q. We compare both sides. Base will cancel base, left with the power, which is 1 over 2 plus 1 over 4 plus 1 over 8, equal to 3 q. If we continue, we have different ways to solve fraction. Either we make all the denominators to be equal, or we take the LCM of 2, 4, and 8. If we take the LCM of 2, 4, and 8, we have 8. 2 as the denominator into 8, we have 4. 4 times the numerator, which is 1, we have 4 plus. When 4 goes into 8, we have 2. 2 times the numerator, we have 2 plus. 8 into 8 gives us 1. 1 times the numerator, we have 1, equals to 3q. Then when we add up the numerator, we are going to have 4 plus 2 gives us 6. 6 plus 1 gives us 7 all over 8, equal to 3q over 1. Then we cross multiply. When we cross multiply, 3q times 8 gives us 24q, equals to 7 times 1. When we cross multiply, gives us 7. Next step, we divide both sides by the coefficient of q, which is 24. When we divide both sides by 24, we have 24q all over 24, equals to 7 all over 24. 24 cancel 24, left with q, equals to 7 all over 24 as the final answer, which is the third method. Now we want to check if our answer is correct. We write check. We write the original equation, which is root of 5, root of 5, root of 5, equal to 125 raised to the power of q. We put q equal to 7 all over 24. Now we have root of 5, root of 5, root of 5. Then using the last method which we use, which is this last method here, which we use, we discover that root of 5, after expressing, we are going to have 5 raised to the power of 7 over 8. Then, meaning all of these will be 5 raised to the power of 7 all over 8, equal to 5 raised to the power of 3q. When we express 125 in base 5, if that be 5 raised to the power of 7 over 8 is equal to 5 raised to the power of 3. When we put q equals to 7 over 24, we are having 3 into 7 over 24. 3 can cancel 24, gives us 8. Then we have 5 raised to the power of 7 over 8 is equal to 5 raised to the power of 7 over 8. Because when we divide 3 by 24 gives us 8. The left hand side is equal to the right hand side, meaning our answer is correct. We have explored 3 different approaches or 3 different methods to solve this question. Which of them do you prefer? Drop your comments in the comment section. If this video helped, please subscribe, like and share. Thank you very much. See you in my next video. Thank you.